Today I'm going to be making thick Biscoff stuffed white chocolate chip cookies. What you're going to need for this recipe is 1 cup of cold butter. Those are half sticks, so it's going to be 2 full sticks of butter. 1 cup of brown sugar, half a cup of granulated sugar, 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 1.5 cups of cake flour, and then 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt. You need 3/4 cup of white chocolate chips. I'm using the Premier White Morsels, but you can buy whatever white chips you want. You need 1 cup of crushed Biscoff cookies. These are the plain ones, and you're going to use 12 is how many it took us. So it's basically half the package of Biscoff. And then you're also going to need the Biscoff sandwich cookies. You're going to be using 12 of these. We're going to make 12 cookies, so you need 12 of these sandwich cookies. They do have ones with Biscoff cream. They have vanilla cream. We wanted to get the ones with Biscoff cream, but if all you have available is the vanilla, you can go ahead and get those. What you want to do first is you're going to put your cake flour with your all-purpose flour, and then you're going to add your dry ingredients, your salt and your baking powder and baking soda. And we're just going to take a whisk and just whisk those together. And it's no big deal. Just if you have a fork, just take a fork and whisk them together. And then we're going to lay this to the side. And then we're going to, in a hand mixer or a stand mixer, you're going to take your butter and your sugars, your brown sugar and your regular granulated sugar, and you're going to mix these together until it's creamy. Mix our eggs in one at a time. One of our yolks broke, so it is what it is. If they all go in at once, they do, but I'll try to keep it separate. So mix these in one at a time, and then we're going to be mixing in our vanilla as well. Now we're going to mix in our dry ingredients, and then you just want to mix it in just until it's combined. Don't over mix it. And now we want to stir in our 3/4 cup of white chips and our Biscoff, our cup of crushed Biscoff. Now we want to take this mixture and put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Okay, here is my cooled dough. I'm preheating my oven to 375 degrees, and I have 2 cookie sheets with parchment paper. I'm gonna put 6 cookies on each cookie sheet. I'm going to weigh all of this dough because I'm going to divide it into 12 cookies, and I want to have an even amount. So we weighed the dough out, and to get what I need to get 12 even cookies, I need about 110 grams per cookie. So those are gonna be good sizes. So that's the first thing I wanna do is just, I'm gonna be putting the dough on the scale and weighing these and then adding or subtracting. So this is a good amount. And then I'm gonna form this into a ball like this. And then I'm gonna put it over on my cookie sheet. And we're going to be doing this 12 times. So now I'm going to take my Biscoff cookies, my sandwich cookies, and open these up. And I'm going to take these balls that we made, and I'm going to take half and kind of patty it out like you're making a cheeseburger, and then put this cookie in the center, the Biscoff, the new one, and then we're going to put this on top, and we're going to close it in on the sides. Okay, so what we want to do, we have all of our cookies, and we want to, I'm going to put both of these in the oven at the same time. Our oven's a little bit narrow, so when I put them in the oven, it kind of looks like this, but it doesn't matter. They will cook fine. They'll cook perfectly fine. But what you want to do is we're going to bake them for 7 minutes at 375. And then after 7 minutes, we're gonna reach in and we're just gonna rotate them around just like this. And we're gonna bake them for another 7 minutes, and then we'll be back. This is how they look. This is one sheet. And you can see they're perfectly baked. You wouldn't have wanted to leave them in any longer, but I wouldn't have wanted to leave them in any shorter either. So now we're gonna let them sit here and cool for about 15 minutes until we move them over to a cooling rack. So this is completely cooled off, and I want to show you the bottom. The bottom looks terrific, and we're going to cut one in half. And that is how that looks. Okay, we have our cookies here, so I'm just going to grab this one. They look wonderful. The house smells so good from these. What do you think?
Those Biscoff cookies are still very crunchy. And the Biscoffs are a little more dense than like an Oreo or something like that, so there's more to chew.
It's funny, too, taking those Biscoff crumbles, the crumbs, and you get more in some areas than you do others. So like here's a really thick area where the part before wasn't as thick of that Biscoff.
I like that a lot. You know what would be cool? If, it might be impossible to do, but when you've got it flattened out in your hand, before you put the cookie on there, put a little dollop of just the cookie butter.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then put your cookie on top of that, and then put the bottom on. Boy, you talk about adding a lot of flavor, and it would make like a gooey center in the middle.
Well, what I thought about, and we didn't have any Biscoff here, or I would have done it. What I thought about doing was, once these were done, we should have bought a jar of Biscoff, and I could have melted it in the microwave, and I could have put some on top. That would have given you your cookie butter flavor there too. Not that you don't get it in here. It's plenty in here. But if you wanted to do like over the top, you absolutely could melt some of that Biscoff cookie butter and then put it over the top.
Yeah, I was just thinking more for a stuffed like cookie.
Yes.
Put a dollop in there and then put their cookie on top. Fold it over and then flip it upside down basically on the baking sheet. That way you'd have your cookie and your dollop on the top. That would be good.
The texture's perfect.
It's really good. I like it.
I like it quite a bit.
I could eat about 2 of them.
And it's so easy. I think they're
And they're
really,
big,
really
too.
easy to make, yes, and they're huge.
The worst part is making them sit in the refrigerator for a little while.
Yeah, because you can't touch them. You know, it's in the refrigerator and there's nothing you can do. For at least 15 minutes, but ultimately I would try to leave them for 30 minutes.
Yeah, you want them firm when you're doing the cookie part, because if you don't, it's going to be too mushy, and trying to make them into like a ball with a stuffed cookie dough with them kind of soft, it's hard to do. Plus they tend to spread more if they're warmer too. So
I would like to know why they haven't made Biscoff chips. We have peanut butter chips, we
like
have white chips, we have cream cheese
like a
chips.
cookie butter chip.
They need cookie butter chips to add to cookies.
That'd be good. People would buy
Biscoff, you can send me a check once you make them for my idea.
it. Even if Biscoff doesn't do it, anybody can
Anybody
do
can
cookie
make
butter.
cookie butter chips. So because the white chocolate chips, they're really good and I like them and they do add to the sweetness. But imagine having Biscoff chips. People would go crazy.
Mixed in with the like chocolate chips.
Oh yeah.
That'd be good.
Oh yeah, it would be wonderful. So these were successful. I
very
love them. Yeah. Now we made these from a different recipe. Kevin made some stuffed Oreo cookies, and so this was my idea. Was to take, instead of crushed Oreos, to take crushed Biscoffs, and then to take the Biscoff sandwich cookie and put it in the middle. So I can put a link below to the Oreo recipe, and just know that you'll substitute Oreos for Biscoff. And one other thing I did was that recipe that he did with Oreos called for 1 cup of white chips. Well, all we had left after he made his Oreos was 3/4 cup of white chips. So if you have a cup, use a cup. But I used 3/4 for this, and it worked out fine.
Yeah, you taste it, add sweetness.
I forgot to buy more, honestly. That's why I ended up using 3/4. But it still worked even with that amount.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.